All right, so this is just going to be a quick review of Adobe XD, and I'm going to move pretty fast because I'm assuming that you already have a lot of XD knowledge from your web design and other app design classes. So here I am on the welcome screen. I can start a tutorial. I can add add-ons, blah, blah. I can choose different devices. So I'm going to pick an X or XS, and I'll simply click the icon, and here it goes, opening up my project. I'm going to start just by saving my project and giving it a name, and I'll save it to my cloud. I don't really care if it's in the cloud, so I'll call this iPhone Test App. Okay. And on the left-hand side, I have the different artboards, so different screens. If I zoom out, I can see if I start building new screens, I'll have them all out here. So I'm going to go ahead and go to one of these tools like a shape tool, and I'll just create a really simple start button. I don't even know what kind of app I'm making, I'm just going to do it. So I drag out my shape, and just like in Illustrator or any other Adobe product, I can grab these corners and start building some corners. So let's do that. On the right hand side, I have my context sensitive attributes, my different alignment tools if I want to build a repeat grid, the positioning and rotation and things like that, and if it's responsive resize, appearance like the opacity, the fill color. Let's change that color to something else. We'll do something like this, and then the actual border color as well. So do a dark border. The size of that border, so I could have it be like 5. If it's dashed, how large the gaps are with the dashes, and so on. So pretty basic stuff, how the corners are handled, and the end caps if I was using lines, if it has a drop shadow or not. Here's the shadow dimensions. The shadow color can be modified here. So again, I'm moving really quick just because I want to kind of blaze through this. If it blurs the background, so if it acts as like a popover, and if it blurs objects, which this is a new functionality, they changed that. And then also if I want to mark it for export, which will actually be pretty important in this class as we start to complete objects. So there's my first object, and let's use the rest of these tools all work pretty much the same. Let's hop down to our text tool, and I'll add some text to the middle of this, and I'll just say start, and let's grab that, and I'll grab both of these objects and center them, and I also want to center them horizontally and vertically, and I'll pick that start, and this is where the text comes in, where I can change the size of the text. So I could say let's try 30-point text instead. I can change the style of text, the font, the kerning, the leading, all that kind of stuff. How it's arranged. So pretty basic. Select both, and I'll redistribute those again because they weren't quite right. All right, so we have this, not too fancy start button, and I can move that to the middle of my dock. Okay, looks good, and let's add a second artboard. So just below that text tool, I have the artboard tool, where I can pick different artboards on the side, or I can simply click and it's going to give me the same artboard that I had previously, so the same size. And in this one, let's generate some more content. I'm going to change the appearance of the background. I'll change it to a gradient, and let's do something like kind of pale pink to maybe a darker orange. And yeah, I'm happy with that. I can add a grid if I want, just to help me out. I don't need a grid though. I'm going to add some circles just for some aesthetic stuff. Just some pretty things. And I will select all those, do the same thing. So I can add like a radial gradient, for example. Select one end of it. Select the other end. And just do some funky stuff. I can turn on and off the borders here. So very simple. These are kind of hurt my eyes, but whatever. So let's now move on to the prototyping mode. Or actually, before we do that, I'll create a symbol. So let's say I want to reuse this button over and over again. I would select both, and I can right-click to group them, or hit Command-G, so now they're grouped. And then I can also make a component out of this. That's right, I think they changed the name of symbols to components. So component, yep, say goodbye to symbols, hello components. So to get to the component screen, I just click this top button here, and that opens up my library of things, just like how I can do the same thing with colors. So if I select this and I hit plus, it's going to add all the colors. I can hit plus to add all the different character styles, and so on and so forth. So pretty basic functionality. I mean, you can really do a lot with this, but that's the quick rundown. In the next video, I'm going to show you prototyping, and then we'll get into actually creating some applications.